Hello, my name is Emma. Welcome to Emma Rosen Books, and I'm in the process this morning of packing up my stuff for a book selling event after 6 months of no events. I've actually got 2 this weekend, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to have a chat to you about some tips and tricks that I've learned along with doing events for the last 2 years, and show you the things I take with me. It might give you some ideas if you're going to events of your own. So as I say, I'm doing 2 events. One is the Hythe Late Summer Market, which I'll link below, and that's like a farmer's market kind of thing. And then I'm also exhibiting in a virtual online event where I've already pre-recorded a video which will be live streamed. So when this video goes up, that event will be tomorrow. So that's going to be on Saturday the 26th. I'll leave a link to that as well. It's an early parenting sort of webinar / convention kind of a thing, which I've gone to in person before, but it's online this year. So you can take a look at that. It's free. It is based around the Deal Dover area, but it's great for early parents anywhere because there's loads of information. It's just delivered by like local people. So I'll link that below as well. But I am packing for the Hythe event. So I've written down some tips and tricks. So I'll start off by chatting you through some of those, and then I'll show you all the stuff I'm taking with me. I'm really sorry, by the way, if you can hear the rain. It is lashing it down outside, which concerns me slightly since the event this weekend is outdoors. But yeah, sorry if you can hear the rain. And I'm a little bit damp from being out in it, so sorry about that as well. Anyway, so my first tip is to do with finding events. So you can obviously go to bookish kind of events. So actually this weekend I'm going to be in an author's gazebo. So you can look for specific kind of things showcasing authors, like book conventions, book signings, author events, any kind of multi-author type event. But you don't have to stick to that. You can think outside of the box and do things which are maybe related to the genre of your book or the topic of your book, or things that are just local and you're a local author. So, for example, some of the things I've done, my first book is about breastfeeding, which is why I'm talking in the early parenting thing. In fact, I didn't say in that I'm doing book recommendations about early parenting, so that's what my section is all about. But my book, Milk, because it's about breastfeeding, I have exhibited at a few breastfeeding events and early parenting events. I've done quite a few of those because that fits with the genre of my book. And then with Lily the Limpet, that is more, I've done a few sort of sea-based type things. So I've been to a beach school, and you know, you can do things around the book. As I said, the other thing you can do is like local events, so things like craft fairs. I've done a lot of craft fairs and they're really good. I've even done a boot fair. If you've got things like a local regatta or like a community fair or any of that kind of stuff, just really look for anything where you're either like the local author or you're within the genre or it's just a bookish event, and give it a go. So some of the things to look for when you're thinking about doing these events are, I think it's important to consider the cost to yourself, because the markup on books isn't great and you want to make as much profit as possible, and I have made losses on a couple of events. So look at what the table fee is, and I personally prefer to go to events that have got a lower table fee. And also look at whether they're going to require you to have any kind of insurance. Some places want you to have liability insurance, other places you're covered by the venue's insurance. So check that, because if you've got to pay for liability insurance, then that adds a big cost on top. Another thing to consider is how far away the event is. You should be factoring in your travel, so fuel obviously, and any kind of, if you're staying over, and like your food while you're away, any of your expenses if you've had to travel away. I've done a weekend event before and it was really expensive. Even though I kept my costs down by staying with a friend, it was still really expensive and I made a loss on that one. Not a lot actually, only about £15, but yeah, because it cost me a lot to go. So consider all of those factors of what the event is going to cost you, and then how many books you actually might sell. I think if you're starting out, try and go to a cheaper event to feel your feet and see see how much you do sell, because obviously you don't want to kind of put lots of effort into going to an event and then it's it's a loss. So yeah, just think about how much it's going to cost you, if you're likely to sell enough books to cover that cost, and kind of all the factors involved. So I would say when you're first starting out, try smaller events, because there's less kind of anxiety about, you know, having like big brands or big, you know, people with like a big display and everything's all singing and all dancing and they've got loads of, it's like, wow. You know, if you're like a small stall holder doing a first thing, it's nice to be at a smaller, more local event. It's just kind of less pressure, I think, as well. So try out something kind of low-key. Another thing is to look for an event that's shorter. So the event I'm doing this weekend, excuse me, is 3 days, which is intense, and it's 3 long days. But when I first started out, I did a few events that were like 2 or 3 hours. So you kind of get used to what's involved, without having to be there all day and do like this really big thing. So yeah, it's just good to look for something small, easy, cheap, to try it out for the very first time. When you get there, I would say get there early, see what all their instructions are about arriving, but make sure you're there in plenty of time, especially if you don't know where the place is, which actually I don't know where the place is tomorrow, so I will look that up. But if you're not sure or you're worried about traffic, get there really early. It's not great to arrive at an event late, because what, as someone who's organised events as well, you don't want to do like the grand unveiling and people are still setting up, or there's empty stalls, or so make sure you're there, you're set up. It may mean that you're standing around for a while before the event starts, but you know, it looks more professional. The people organising it are going to be more pleased with you. It's all good. So try and get there early. Get yourself all set up, all organised. Obviously have a chat to the person running it, see if there's anything you need to know. Make sure you're set and comfortable, and then obviously you're ready to go. During the event, I try to talk to everybody. As an English person, I think that it feels a bit awkward. We're not very good, well, some people are, but in general we're not that great at the kind of sales patter kind of thing. So in my first few events I felt really awkward and uncomfortable, but I'm fine with it now. If somebody comes over and they're looking at my books, personally I just make general conversation, usually of just like, hello, how are you, having a nice day? You know, if they've got kids with them, I'll be like, oh, hello, you know, if they've got like a balloon, you know, you make conversation about the balloon. I don't know, just general chit chat. If they see, I don't like to put the pressure on. I know some people would, but for me, I feel that puts people off because I hate it. So I'll say hello to people, then I tend to kind of chill out unless they have want to have a conversation with me. And then if they're actually picking my books up and looking at them, I'll start to tell them more about the book and explain. And I think my first couple of events I was a bit like, but now I'm kind of just very relaxed about, oh yeah, well that book is about this and I wrote that because da 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 da, you know, just chatting and comfortable. I have definitely found that has resulted in sales, but also in some really interesting conversations, some great networking opportunities as people find out who you are and what you do. So it's always worth chatting to people and being friendly when they come round. I always stay till the bitter end. Again, as somebody who's organised events, I don't like it when, I mean, obviously sometimes people have to leave because they've got commitments, but it is annoying again when you've got empty stalls and it's not, you know, the event that you'd said because some people have left, you know. So from the organiser's point of view, it's great if you stay till the end. Also, I find sometimes people will look at my stuff, they'll go off, and then they come back right at the end. And I quite often actually sell a few things right at the end. So if you're not there, then you miss those sales and you might annoy the organisers. So do stay till they've asked you to, and then pack up your stuff. And then when I'm done, I always go and find the organisers and say thank you. And then if there's an opportunity for a future event that I know about, I'll talk to them about it and, oh, I'd really love to come to the next one, how do I go about booking that? and kind of get that set in motion for the next one. In terms of, rather than the actual like bookish stuff, things that I take with me, I always take something to do. So I'm going to be taking a book with me, and I am also taking my edits of my work in progress with me, because you can end up just sitting around for really long periods of time when people aren't walking around. And the event this weekend, the weather's not going to be great. So I don't know, and it's always better to just have something to do, because I actually find it really draining to be just sat there like just kind of staring around the place. So it is handy. However, on the other hand, you know, don't sit there nosing a book as you've got customers coming round. And I know it seems obvious, but I go to events and people do that. I always make a point, someone comes to start looking at things, you know, the stuff goes down. And if I'm busy, obviously, then the stuff just disappears. But, you know, I can put my book down or put down what I'm doing, and then, hello, how are you? And everything stays put down until they've moved on. So, but yeah, it is handy to have something to do, because sometimes you can end up with real lull in an event with nothing, and it can be like, it's really draining. I always take lots of water. For me, I get migraines when I do events like this. Like, it is guaranteed I'm going to have 3 migraines this weekend. It's just the way it is. And water really helps. So I always take lots and lots to drink. And I always take some money with me so that I can buy myself a coffee, because caffeine always helps as well. And a warm drink, it does just help. So yeah, make sure you've got plenty to drink. I always take lots of food, and I like to take munchy things. Again, if you're a bit bored, you'll also have a tendency, if there's food being cooked around you and all this delicious like artisanal food, that you'll end up going and buying it. So that you're not like impacting on your costs, take plenty of food with you, things that you can just kind of nibble. It's something to do, some nice healthy things that are going to keep you going. Make sure you've got plenty so you're not there hungry. It's awful if you're hungry and thirsty and cold and headachy. Just make sure you've got everything you're going to need so that you're at your best. I also take with me like painkillers, anything I might need in that sense. So I mean, it's stuff I carry around with me anyway, like plasters and, you know, but all that stuff that if you end up at an event for 8 hours and you know, have a headache, or you have got, I don't know, whatever, it's just have your little medical supply kit with you, anything that you could need during that day. I also make sure I take plenty of layers. Even if it's an indoor event, they can be really cold when you're just sat there. They can also be really hot. So, and it depends where they put you. If they put you in front of a heater or in front of a fan, so it's just really good to have plenty of layers. I always take things like hats and gloves, because I personally get really cold. And if you're at an event for a long time and you're sitting down, I just really get like that chill in my bones. So yeah, make sure you're just fully prepared. Any eventuality, you're going to be comfortable. It's just really important. And actually, on that side, I always try and dress comfortably. I try to look a little bit professional, but really, if I'm selling all day, the important thing is I'm going to be warm enough. You can tell it's raining. I'm like, I need to be warm enough, well-fed, comfortable. Yeah, so all of that stuff. What else? Some of this I can't even read, so that's good. Oh yes, so I will also use the opportunity to network. So generally I will go around and talk to other stallholders. People generally do that. Chat to them about who I am, who they are, take their information. I personally don't tend to buy things off of other stalls. I've been to events where everybody ends up buying off of each other, and it makes me really uncomfortable, because I don't want to impact my sales, my revenue, by having bought loads of stuff, unless it's things I actually want. But yeah, so that aside, I always talk to everyone. I'll always follow people on social media, promote what they're doing. I sometimes do stories and I'm like, oh, there's this person and they've got this. So, you know, try and network with the people around you. And another thing is that I always make sure that I promote the event that I'm doing. So I'll always put something about a week before saying that I'm going to this event and here's the information. And then throughout the week before, I'll be putting it on my stories and, you know, maybe another share and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And then while I'm actually at the event, it'll be on my stories. I'll have a post on Instagram, and I share that to Facebook and Twitter of you know, me at the event. I'm here, it's really cool, I'm having a great time. And then when it's finished, then I'll always make sure I have some kind of, oh, I had such a great time, you know, just lots and lots of noise on social media, sharing their links, sharing all of their stuff to promote it as much as possible, because that helps them, it helps you, it means that it kind of links all of your social media together. So yeah, it's a great thing to do. So all that said, and obviously the events can be all different sizes. Sometimes I've done things where there's like 2 stalls. I've done things where it's just me. That was a book launch. So I say things. I've done thing where there was just me. Oh no, I've done more than that because I've done like a book signing. You know, sometimes it is just me with a stall doing a thing. And then other times it's like it might be multi-author, it might be lots and lots of different kinds of stalls. So it depends, and there are different scales and all sorts. So it's fun. Definitely try it. Definitely give it a go. What I should say before I move on to showing you my things is that when you sell in person, in general, because you're selling your author copies that you got at cost, the markup is a lot higher because you're not selling through a distributor like Amazon or whoever who are taking their cut. So generally your profit margin is a lot higher on every unit. You're also, people like to have met the author. I sign all the copies as well. People really like that. And it's getting your name out there. It's another promotional thing. So in general, selling in person is a lot more profitable for me. I know other people sell a lot online, but for me, I make more money from things in person than I do online. So not being able to do this for the last 6 months has had a big impact on my business. But yeah, something to consider. Any opportunity where you can sell your author copies is just an amazing opportunity for sales and for networking. So definitely worth a go. So I am going to show you all of my stuff and give you some tips on the kind of things that I find useful to take with me. So let's go. So here I am with all of my stuff. I'm going to talk you through everything that I've got and that I'm going to take with me. I think I found everything. So here goes. Right, the first thing to tell you about is this trolley. I don't know how well you can see it. Should pick it up. Look, trolley. My friend Laura has lent me this, so thank you very much, Laura. Laura is a wonderful person. You can look her up on Instagram at Artistica Hair Design if you like colourful hair. She is fabulous. So Laura lent me this for the weekend because I'm not sure if I'm going to have to walk quite a long way from my car to the gazebo, and in the past I've gone with boxes, and books are heavy, and you know, you end up sort of carting these massive boxes and doing loads and loads of trips, and if it's a long way and like over grass and you know, and also it's probably going to be tipping it down, I'm a little bit concerned. So yes, thank you very much to Laura who has lent me this, and I actually might get myself one once I'm like properly back into events, because this will be really helpful. You can't always park close to the event, and of course if you don't have a car then you've got to try and transport your stuff. So one of these, I've got no idea how much it costs, but I like it, so I'm going to pop that over there. I'll show you it once it's all packed up. Right, where to begin? Let's just start with this box. In here I've got my copies of Lily. I've got about 50 in here, I think, thereabouts. So when my books arrive, when I order them, I just keep them in the boxes they come in. I keep the packing materials, and then I just consolidate them as like, you know, as I've got less. But just storing them in the boxes they come in keeps them pretty secure and pretty safe. And so I store all my stuff upstairs. We've got like what would have been an airing cupboard with a cylinder in it, but the cylinder's been removed, so it's just or I think it had a cylinder in it, maybe it never did, but like a linen closet kind of affair. And it's got shelves in it, so I can store all my books. We obviously keep our like bedding and stuff in it as well. But because it's indoors, it's nice and dry, and stuff is kind of out of the way and all of that. In the UK, we don't generally have very big houses, and we also don't generally have garages, so storing things can be a bit of a problem. But I used to keep everything under my bed, but I've expanded, so now I use that cupboard. Anyway, fascinating cupboard talk there. So I'm going to take probably about 20 of those. Yeah. You know when you look at it and think, oh, but what if I sell 200? I'm not going to sell 200 books. But, you know, I get that panic of like, oh, I should have ordered some more. Yeah, so I'll probably take about 20 for tomorrow. Then over here, we've got milk. So the thing about publishing, adults books is they're heavy, and this is why I want the trolley. I'm not sure how many there are in here, probably about 30. A little tip for you. These are the KDP versions because I use KDP and Ingram Spark. The KDP versions are slightly heavier, and for me with this book that actually makes a difference on the postage. So what I tend to do is I use the Ingram Spark ones when I post them because it literally costs about half as much, and then I use the KDP ones at events. And once I've run out of KDP, I'm probably just going to keep Ingram Spark ones at home because they also have prettier backs on them. So there you go. But yeah, so that's a box of KDP ones that I'm going to take. In here, this is my copy of milk that I take with me if I want to show it to a shop. If somebody has kind of expressed a bit of an interest in my books and I'm not sure if they're going to ask me or not, so I'd quite like to have my book just in case they say something. All those kind of things where you just think, oh, I'd quite like to have a copy of my book with me. So I have it in a jiffy bag and then wrapped in a plastic wallet so it can't get wet. And then that will just get shoved like in my bag or in the boot of my car, or just if I feel like I might need a copy, someone might ask me if they can buy a copy. So I just kind of always have a easily grabbable single copy that's kind of nice and dry and secure and all of that, because you just never know. So those are my books, and I'll get those all packed up, probably take about 20 of each. Right, over here I have lined up my book hedgehogs. So I've got two that were already made and stored, and they just need a little bit of love and attention to get them into tip-top condition. I made a tutorial on how to make these, so have a look if you want to. And this girly one here, her bow has gone skew-if. Oh, that's come out, that's why. So I just need to fix those guys up, and then I have a load who need eyes and noses. So I'm going to pack those up nicely in a box so that they're not going to get damaged in there. When you go to events, especially if it's like a craft fair, so this one is like a farmer's market where there's going to be food and gifts, and you know, I find a lot of people don't actually read books that much, and so just having some other bits and pieces, it kind of brings people over to the stall as well. So for me, I do sell a couple of other things on my stall that are bookish, so, and the book hedgehogs are one of those. So they need to be worked on this afternoon so that they are ready to go. Right, what else have I got? So in here, I've got a whole load of bookmarks. I've got ones for milk, and I've got ones for Lily. So these, I designed the one for Lily, and the book designers designed the one for milk. It's not that hard to design on Canva. I get these printed through the company Hello Print. There's loads of other companies, but just saying, that's who I use. I think it cost me something like £30 for about 250. It's something like that, and because I have double-sided ones, there's loads of different options. I like these because I use them as business cards. They've got all my details, you know, my website and my social media and everything. It's a takeaway if somebody isn't sure if they want to buy the book, or they just like a bookmark. But obviously they then use that bookmark, and that reminds them, oh, I didn't buy that book off of that nice lady. I also give one of these to whoever buys a book from the stall. If you buy a book off of my website, I will also pop one of these in. So they're handy in that way. And they look really nice, sort of, I spread them out in a nice fan shape. So yeah, they work really well as something, people like it as well, and they're like, oh, can I have one of these? And of course you can. So I will take, there's quite a lot in there, so I'll take a few of those. What else? Okay, so in here I had some greetings cards made up of the artwork from Lily, like so. So again, I had them printed with Hello Print. It wasn't very hard to do. And on the back of the cards, it says that they're from Lily the Limpet. So if they sent the card, in my mind, that means that's telling that person. They go, oh, that's a pretty card. Where's that from? I sell these for 60p each. Tried selling them for a bit more and it didn't work out. So yeah, I sell them for 60p each. And people just pick them up because cards are the kind of thing that people, oh yeah, no, I need a card. So I just personally find that something, again, gets people to the store, gets people chatting to me. People like to buy a card. It's then going out into the world as a bit of an advertisement as well. So there's those. I do wrap them individually in plastic, what do you call it? Although environmentally speaking, this makes me very unhappy. I did try selling them without them and it doesn't look as professional when I kind of had them all stacked up. And it also, they would get damaged. So I don't like it, but I have had them wrapped in cellophane. I just bought, I think off eBay, a big load of cellophane pouches and you just pop a card in and stick it on. It's easy to do. Okay, what next? In here, and in here, I have some shells. I take these to school events with me. I'm just gonna decide which ones I want to take with me because I use them to decorate the table sometimes. So I will have a nose through that. I'll show you that in a moment. Here I've got my tablecloth. I think I got this on Amazon. It's just a really cheapy one. I went for one that's literally just like a rectangle of material. You can get ones that are more like fitted sheets. For me, I always end up with a different size table. I don't know. But it means I can kind of, this is quite a big one as well, so I can make it work around whatever they give me. It's white, so it's pretty, you know, nothing-ish, but you might want to get a colour that fits in with your brand. It's a little bit see-through and it does show the creases, but it works. I am actually going to take some pegs with me as well because when I get a smaller table, or if the weather's probably going to be quite bad this weekend, and this can kind of billow about and might trip people over or get in the way, or so having some pegs means you can kind of clip underneath, which is handy. So tablecloth. Right, what next? That's got more bookmarks in it, that can go in there. I had some prints made from Lily the Limpet. I used these, the reason I had them done in the first place was I used them in a giveaway when I launched Lily, and I just got a few made rather than just the ones I needed for the giveaway. I sell these on my website, so if you're interested you can have a look. And I sell them unframed and in cellophane again to protect them. I had them made on quite a nice paper and they're limited edition. I think I only had 10 made, so. And I just have these out if people want to buy them. In retrospect, I wish I'd had them made smaller. These are 8.5 by 8.5 inches, which doesn't fit in an A4 envelope. So when people do order them, it's really annoying to post them, but yeah, 8 by 8 does fit in an A4 envelope. So yeah, in retrospect, I wish, oh, it's C4, isn't it, with envelopes? Anyway, I wish I'd just made those a little bit smaller in the future. I would do, but yeah, so I take those and I sell those as well. Again, just an extra thing to have on my stall. Okay. I don't have a pull-up banner. I will do in the future at some point. They're not that expensive to have made and you can design them on Canva or, you know, Photoshop or whatever. I think they're like £25. They're really not that expensive and they look great, but I, at the moment, don't feel like I have, like I want to have loads of books on it and loads of stuff, and that it just, at the moment, I don't feel like, I'm not there, I'm not ready for a roller banner. So what I do is I literally just have a poster in a frame. It does look fine whenever everything's laid out on the stall. I mean, it doesn't really compete if you've got like a really big fancy stall with a big banner and it all looks really cool, but it looks fine. This actually, I've done a up-to-date version, so I'm waiting for my husband to come home with a fresh one to go in that frame. So I just put that up, and then I have my prices in just little frames. I got these from Poundland. Again, I'm having different prices and I need my prices for all of my other bits and bobs on it as well. So my husband's going to bring home a new price list that I can pop in those. But again, that works. I think it looks a bit nicer than if, in the past I've had like little bits of cardboard and then like tied ribbon on them and things like that, but I think in a frame it's just easy to do, just print a new one, goes on the stall. It works for me, what can I say? Other people do things in different ways, but it works for me. Now I used to transport my stuff in here, in a hard suitcase, but it doesn't work for me. And the reason it doesn't work for me is because if you pack your books flat, so when you pack the case you do it like that, and then you stand it up to roll it, all the books are on their side, and you kind of can't really do it the other way, and my books are getting damaged. So yeah, I tend to use this for other things at the event, so I'll put all like my bits and bobs in it, and it is helpful to have something that you can wheel, but I have still been putting the books in boxes, so I'm not using that, but this had a whole load of this stuff in it. And I don't think I'm going to take anything else. I do have, I've got colouring sheets, so I could take them, but I'm not going to. Again, attracts people over. You can put them crayons on your stall. If you want colouring sheets, if you sign up to my newsletter, you can get one that you can print. So yeah, I do have those, but I don't think I'm going to take them. Some other bits. There's a lot of my school stuff in here. So if you'd like me to make a video on like ideas for school workshops, then I can do that. Annoyingly, there is a wad of lilies in here, which I didn't know was in here, and I thought I looked, but I guess I didn't look, because I ran out earlier in the year. Completely ran out, and somebody had ordered one, and I had to panic get hold of one, and then I did like they do a rush delivery? I feel like I did do a rush delivery, and you have to pay more. And there was a little stack of them hiding in here, so I'm most offended. Remember where your books are and be a bit more organised than me with like a box here and a bag here and some stuff here. Anyway, so I'm going to put basically everything I'm not taking back into that case, because I'm not going to take it with me because there's no point if I'm taking a trolley. Right, some other things I'm going to take with me. I'm going to take a notebook. It's always handy. You just never know. You should always have a notebook. So I'm going to take that. Oh, something I haven't got ready yet because my husband's printing it for me today. We don't have a printer at the house, by the way. It's not that I don't know how to print. We just don't have a printer here. So, sorry, I'm like, so my husband is going to print for me a newsletter sign-up form as well that I'm going to have out so people can sign up to my newsletter for more information. So I haven't got that, but I will have. Right, other things. My pencil case. So I bought special pens. These are purple because I like it. They are Uniball. And when I bought them, I checked that they are, what do they call it? It's like archival ink or something. Basically, it means that it won't fade. So you can obviously just sign a book with a biro or whatever, but they're nice to write with. I like the fact they're purple, and in theory when I sign books it should last, so I always make sure that I have those with me. And actually this pencil case can be really handy, sometimes just bits I end up with, just putting stuff in there. I have got my book I'm going to take with me to read. I'm also, like I said, I'm going to have my edits with me, but again, my husband's printing them for me today. I haven't started this yet, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to take my bullet journal with me. This is a moleskin notebook that I use as my bullet journal. Again, just handy to make notes of what I need to remember for the next day or anything. Sometimes I just like fiddling around with my bullet journal really, so I'm going to have that with me. And then this, which is amazing, this is my bum bag, fanny pack if you're American. I had this made, obviously you don't have to. Little shout out to the lady who made it, who's a local lady who makes like children's clothes but also bum bags, and she makes things like snoods. She's making masks at the moment, and her company is called Dino and Duck, and she has the most beautiful fabrics. So this one is jellyfish. You know how sea things please me. When I first started doing events, I was worried that people would steal my money and also that I'd get really panicked, and so I was going to use like a Tupperware with my money in, and I thought, well, but then people can see what money's in it and it means I've got to like walk around with my Tupperware if I go to a stall, and I got all in a flap about what I was going to do. Bum bag. So this is great. It means I don't even have to think about it. It's just on me, it's secure, as in nobody can steal it, and just easy to go in here and do my money. And it's got a little zip at the back, so sometimes I can transfer money into the back if it's just getting a bit busy in here. I need to look at what's in here. I think it's all just pennies. Yeah, I think so. And put some change in here. You know, have a look at what your prices are and what change you think you might need. I always count mine before I go, put it in here. It sounds like I've got loads of money, I swear, it's all just pennies. Yeah, I make sure that I've got whatever I might need. So I need pennies because some of my things are 99p, and I will need pounds, and I will need £5 notes. I count it, I get my husband to count it because I cannot count. I can, but I'm really bad at counting money. It's like I lose interest halfway through. So I get him to double count what's in there, and then at the end of each day I will count what I've got, and then take it out and make sure I've still got a float in here of change. So I need to get that prepared with some change. Actually, on that note, one of the things I use my notebook for is recording what I've sold. Actually, this is such a good tip. One of the first events I did, I got home and was like, I don't know what I sold, and was trying to work out what stock had I taken with me, because I hadn't even counted what stock I'd taken. I just grabbed boxes and gone, and then the money didn't add up, and when I was trying to allocate what went in what column on my accounts and stuff, and it was just a nightmare. So I really recommend, although I do sometimes lose track of what I've sold, I do recommend just make yourself some columns for each of your product, tally chart, and it really does help to be like, yeah, I sold that many, and then I'll do a fresh one each day, otherwise I get myself in a complete muddle. So each day, count my money, tally it up with this, make sure it all makes sense, and then start afresh the next day. Obviously at the moment, card payments are great, so I've got a little card reader. This is a sum up card reader. It's really good. So people can do contactless with this. So the way it works is I have an app on my phone, and then I write in on my phone, right, it's this much money, send it through. This then comes up saying, please tap your card, and it's also got a slot people can put it in. I'm going to obviously make sure this is all charged up before I go. And another thing I'll do is every day, what it likes to do is not connect to my phone. So every morning I will do like a fake payment, like not actually pay, you know, but put the payment through and then cancel it, so that it links with my phone, because it's almost like it kind of goes, okay, we're linked now, I'm happy. Otherwise you have that thing where somebody wants to buy some books, they're using the card reader, and you're standing there going, so, oh yeah, it does take a really long time, oh sorry, and it gets really awkward. So just going to get that up and running. Do you know what, I think I've got an affiliate link for this, and I will put it in the blurb below, and I think it means, that I'll write below, that you get it cheaper. I think I paid £19 for this. You get it cheaper, and then I get like a commission because you bought it. It's something like that. So if this is one that you like, then you can go for it. It takes it's like 2% or 1.5% or something of each payment, but it works really well, and then it tracks all of the payments, where they came from, like what kind of card and what day, and it sends them through once they've cleared, and then I just, they just go straight into my bank account. One thing to say on this, you had to, what was it? I have to have a business bank account for this, and I can't remember why. Maybe, I know why, because I've said I'm a limited company, it then insists on a business bank account, so there is that. So, card reader. Is there anything else I need to show you? Oh yes, where did I put? I will take a little thingy of business cards. I need to find my business cards because the ones in here are not mine. People don't generally take business cards, they take my bookmarks, but I do occasionally get asked, so I will find, I don't think I have that many left because I don't get asked for them. However, I take other people's business cards as well, and I stash them in here. Oh, there's a bank card in here. Well, that's very exciting. There's a bank card in here. Okay, good. But yeah, so I keep ones people give me because sometimes you think, oh, who's that person that I spoke to at that event? So I do keep hold of business cards that I take, so I will take that as well. Is that everything? I think it probably is. I know that's a lot and I've really waffled, but there we are. So I'm going to get all this put in my trolley and then I will show you quickly once I'm all done. But yeah, good. Let's start packing. Okay, I'm kind of as packed as I'm gonna be for now, I think. Yeah, so I've put all of my copies of milk, I'm taking 20, so I've put 20 in there. Now, I've ripped off a flap of this box, 2 flaps actually. The reason for that is because they had my address on and I couldn't get the sticker off. A bit of a tip for you, you never know when people might be able to see these boxes as you're transporting your stuff around. If you don't want people to know your address, then make sure that it's not on your boxes. So I've done that. This is all full of all my bits and bobs. So that's my book and my pencil case and my bookmarks and my shells and my cards and my payment thingy. So that's all in there. Why is my phone ringing? Anyway, so yeah, I just thought having it all in a box makes it easy to just grab that out of this trolley and all that stuff is in there. Also, you can put all of these boxes, if you have boxes of stuff, you can usually hide it under the tablecloth of your stall that you're creating. Obviously, I'll probably put it in the trolley, although I might end up, depending on the situation, I might have to walk the trolley back to my car with my stuff and then get it at the end. Who knows? You end up figuring out these logistics as you go, really. Underneath, I've got my tablecloth, and then under that tablecloth is my copies of Lily. I can't really get to them. I've decided actually to take all of them because Lily is quite small and I don't know, I just worried about how many I had, so I've taken the whole box because they're not that heavy. So yeah, milk, Lily. So the only things I've got left to go in here, I've got all this mess from packaging materials that I need to sort out, and then stuff that needs to get put away. So I've got all of these book hedgehogs that I'm going to get sorted in a mo. So I've got to sort out her bow and, you know, decorate these ones, and I'll probably end up putting those somehow in here, see if I can kind of put them in some bubble wrap or something like that and just have them carefully laid in there. And then this is my pile of things that need sorting. So I've got the frames that need new images in. I've got a dog. Thanks for that, Dee. You're getting hair all over the rug. And my bullet journal, because I'm going to be using that today, and my bum bag because I need to sort the money out in that. So that's my sort of to-do pile. I can get myself tidied up. And basically, I think all of that stuff is going to go in here, in the top, and then I'm going to figure out some kind of waterproof covering. I have got some tarps, so I might literally just tuck a tarp around it, but something, because I do suspect I'm going to be walking in the rain, and obviously when you sell things that get water damage, you need to protect against that. Hopefully there won't be rain pouring into the gazebo. I've had that before and I had to put all my books away because they were getting soaked. Anyway, so those are my tips. This is the stuff I'm bringing with me. I hope that was helpful. As always, do leave in the comments. Let's just have you, Dolly, for my end of video. Dolly, do you think they should leave comments about their book tips? Do you? What do you think? Should they like? Woof if you want them to like. And do you think they should subscribe? Oh, I think a waggy tail means subscribe. Thanks everyone, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you all soon for another video, won't we, Dee? Hey? Good girl, Dolly.